What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy, Motor City Don P. Motor City Cats. Back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. We're going to get into some free agency news today. We got a lot that we got to talk about. We're going to be talking about the way that this money is getting spent, all these moves that teams are making. Should the Lions be making more moves? What is the attitude around what is happening? Are the fans satisfied? Are you all okay? Is everybody good? Um, are the fans freaking out? Are you all okay? Is everybody good? We're gonna get into all of that. Um, KA Press says, what the F is going on? Well, I'll tell you what the F is going on. We got a lot of money being spent out here. We got a lot of teams dropping the bags on players that they have already been involved with, who have already been in their organization. And we've got a lot of money being thrown about in free agency. I would say that the New England Patriots have been the biggest spenders so far. What up, though, K Press? What up, though, Devin Davis, Zach J, Anthony Jones? What up, though? I'm gonna get to everybody. So let's get started with a team that's notoriously cheap. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals just recently started selling naming rights to their stadium so that they could afford to pay their quarterback. Then their quarterback goes on, radio appearances, and he says he needs his guys. And, T. Higgins' mom was tweeting about the Bengals being selfish because they franchise tagged him again. And, all the stuff that happened before this season. Jamar Chase coming in some jorts and some Jordans and a do-rag and sunglasses, sauntering onto the field training camp, wasn't practicing or just came in late and he was going to go do what he needed to do and what he wanted to do to get ready for practice on his own time. He gets 140 million over 4 years. Oh, I'm sorry, 160 million over 4 years. Was 112 million of it guaranteed. T. Higgins goes and turns around, and it seemed like they were in the same room at the same time signing the contracts together, like sitting at the table together. They did both of them. So T. Higgins got what, 115, 116 million, something like that. So now the band is back together. You got Joey B, he's got his guys. You got Jamar Chase being I forgot his name for a second. You got Jamar Chase being the highest paid receiver in the NFL, and obviously the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. I mean, until the next guy gets another contract. They always say that. Like, history, when you talk about contracts, means absolutely nothing. And now, the Detroit Lions don't seem to be able to get Trey Hendrickson because, in a surprise move to everyone, the Bengals have called Trey Hendrickson back to the negotiating table, and they want to get a contract done with him. They want to get a deal done. Now, previously, they gave him permission to go ahead and seek a trade, him and his agent. Now, they want to get a deal done. So that's another guy that's off the market. Possibly, we'll see what happens with it. But just like Myles Garrett, he wanted to be traded, right? He was like, he was just like us. I love the hood. I love the hood. I love the hood. But as soon as he got his check, he was gone. Well, actually, as soon as he got his check, he came back. He went back to Cleveland after saying he would not play for them again, how it was done. He had made his decision, his mind was made up. He cut off negotiations and communications with the team. And then all of a sudden, he signs a deal to return to the Cleveland Browns, 40 million per. So Trey Hendrickson may be doing a similar thing. Obviously, it wasn't as public. He wasn't all on social media during a tour. He didn't go to, the Super Bowl telling everybody that would listen how he was thinking about playing for this team, that team, and the other team, and how, hey, it was what it was, and he wasn't going to be returning to Cleveland. Things were over there. He thanked everyone. He penned a letter to the city, and then he came back. But now, as a Lions fan, right, when you look at that situation, he did a whole tour, the whole media role situation, and still wound up back with the Cleveland Browns. What about Zadarius Smith? Zadarius Smith simply put something on his IG story thanking Detroit. Zadarius Smith has not been linked to any other teams thus far. I checked. He also hasn't been linked really to coming back to the Lions. I checked. So he's just out there. What is it that the Detroit Lions fans want to see? I know we are divided. My thing, before I go ahead and get to the chat, I'll talk to you guys a bit and then I'll get back to the rest of this. But my thing, the only thing, is I'm worried that we're doing another Emmanuel Mosley situation. Brad Holmes, if you guys don't know the story about Brad Holmes, I think Brad Holmes was like in a major car accident and he was like paralyzed from the waist down, and they said he would never walk again. And he, went through the grueling rehab and actually went back and played again in college. So this is where his affinity for injured players comes from. And because he has had this affinity for injured players and because of his own personal situation, I just worry that he may be blinded by his. I see myself in Marcus Davenport. I see myself in Emmanuel Mosley. I see myself in this injured player and that injured player, and everyone counted them out just like they counted me out. And everyone said, oh, he's injury prone. He won't be able to play anymore, blah, 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 blah. And I was in a worse situation than all of these guys, and I did it. Why can't they do it too? That's the only thing that I feel like is a detriment to the Detroit Lions. That could be a detriment to the Detroit Lions. So I'll pose a question to you. For those of you that want to let Brad cook, and I want to let Brad cook too, he's done a phenomenal job drafting this team. But now we're in a position where we don't need a particular fantastic draft. Last year's draft wasn't fantastic. It was not. Okay. So we really just need one player. We need a guy to put on the other side of Hutch. Obviously, we want to get some depth at the edge position and somebody that can get to the passer. So I'll ask you this question. For those that are 100% let Brad cook, do not question that man. Cool. We go into the draft with Marcus Davenport on the other side of Hutch as your bookend. We go BPA, 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 and then let's say 4th round, 5th, 6th, 7th, then we address our need. Because BPA in the first round was a guard, and BPA in the second round was a linebacker, and BPA in the third round was another corner. and you don't get your edge rusher until round 4. I'm just saying that's a scenario. That is just a scenario. That's not what I think will happen. But if that scenario did come to pass, what would you think? Because I know there's not a person in this chat, there's not a person inside of Marcus Davenport's camp that thinks that he has the ability to stay healthy for an entire season. The most games he's ever played in his career has been 15 games. If he returns to that, fantastic. But there's been a lot of injury shortened seasons for old Marcus Davenport. So I just want to get your, let me know in the chat what you think about that situation and what would your reaction be if we did not get our edge rusher until in the later rounds because we were just busy going BPA. Right? We need a guard. Right? With the loss of Kevin Zeitler, we need a guard. We might need a linebacker, right? We need Jihad Campbell. I'm just telling y'all that. But that won't be in the second round. That would be a first round pick. Like there are situations where we could make other moves outside of edge. We need a defensive tackle. Right? Unless you just go, all right, well, Roy Lopez is good until Aleem McNeil gets back. So just let me know what you guys think in the chat. All right. Let's see. K Impress wants to let y'all know that I'm ignoring the comments. No, I'm actually talking about something. Zach J says highest paid non-QB. Miles gonna want a new contract. Doughboy Steve, what up, though? Taylor May says, I was told that no club in the NFL could afford to pay 2 receivers 30 plus million. Now you're saying the Bengals have money for Trey Hendrickson for whoever as well. Weird. Weird. Like when I saw that they were going back to the table with Trey Hendrickson, I was like, in what world are you able to afford Trey Hendrickson? Because in the 3 players on offense, Joe Burrow and his 2 guys, they take it up 44% of the cap. 44%. That means you've got 56% of your cap remaining for 49 other players. All right. So if you tried to sign every one of those players to 1% of your cap, you would have just enough to field the team. Hold on. Let me close this door. They're having some athletic event across the street. 1 second. All right. So Devin Davis says, how are the Bengals able to afford all them at them prices? LOL. They're going broke to accomplish nothing. LOL. Right? I mean, that is pretty crazy. Like I said, 3 people, 44% of your cap. Okay, I am not reading that comment. Pause. If I was to read it, it would be a pausable situation. He was doing good until last year. Here's Johnny says trade deadline, big splash, Brad in quotations. So he finds that funny. David Ricky Fox says, what about Kaminsky? I don't even know. But you know what? The Lions did sign Mitchell Agu today. So, you know. Good evening, Lisa. Taylor May says that I might as well tear up all my Excel spreadsheets. They have not extended him, but they are back at the table negotiating an extension. So we have to see what is the outcome of the negotiations. K is grade A, bro. I tell you that. Lisa says, wow, should I be excited about Mitchell Agu? No, you shouldn't be. I don't think anybody is excited. Go ahead and smash that like button. All right. And again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Motor City Cats YouTube channel, make sure you do that after the show. If you have to leave for any reason, make sure you go on over to the Motor City Cats YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button. It means a whole lot. It helps me to get out there, get the algorithm. We got a lot of people in here today. So make sure, if you are not a subscriber of the Motor City Cats channel, go ahead and do that after the show. All right. So the next part about all of this is the Lions signings and the beat writers and the reporters. Now, I saw one particular reporter, and I'm not going to say his name because I'm not here to disparage anyone or to start any type of beef or anything of that nature. I saw one particular reporter who was talking about, well, you know, this isn't something that the Lions can do. They can't spend this money, blah, 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 blah. Then he has a tweet talking about Lions fans apparently believe that the Detroit Lions defense isn't that great, while the experts say something completely different about them being, you know, top 5 in DVOA up to week 11. Okay. Let's just start there. Let's start with top 5 DVOA up until week 11. And I want to ask you guys a question. Because for those of you that know me, know that I'm not a stat guy. Okay? I believe that stats need to be mixed in with the eye test, and then you can put context behind those stats, and then you can form an opinion. Okay, we're top 5 in this, we're top 5 in that. Here's the thing. What did your eyes tell you about our ability to get to the quarterback? What did your eyes tell you about our ability to disrupt him? Right? We got pressures. We didn't get sacks. We got some sacks in some key moments. Zadarius Smith is one of those people that got sacks in key moments, like when he helped us to win the Thanksgiving game because he sacked Caleb Williams at the on one of the last plays. We got those things happening at key moments, but you can't rely on something that's inconsistent. And I keep saying that Aiden Hutchinson was the leader in sacks for the entire season after only playing 5.5 games. The front end of the defense, right? The front 4 makes everything behind it better or worse. depending on what its level is. If you have a bad front four, your secondary looks your linebackers look worse, your secondary looks worse. If you have a great front four, your linebackers look great, your secondary looks great. If you have an elite front four, your linebackers look elite, your secondary looks elite because the quarterback doesn't have a chance to breathe. So if we're saying, oh, we were top 5 in this, top 5 in that, this ranking, that ranking, the third ranking, then Caleb Williams came in and he was the only quarterback in the season to throw 2 or more touchdowns against us. Right? Wouldn't you have loved to have Hutch and everybody else healthy? Yes. If everyone is healthy, does the Detroit Lions line look like the Philadelphia Eagles line in the Super Bowl? Are you confident that we can create that much havoc consistently throughout the season without making any different moves than what we've already made? Most people are not begging the Detroit Lions to completely overhaul their defense. You've never seen me get up here and tell you that the Detroit Lions have a trash defense. They'll never be able to do anything. Oh my God, they've got to make all the moves. They got to sign all the free agents. They got to spend all this money. I've never said that. I want them to make one move. That's it. Just one move. Just get an edge rusher on the other side of Hutch. Marcus Davenport, while I am in his corner, while I 100% am rooting for him, I want him to be able to stay healthy, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen. Bring back Big Z. Now we have insurance. We have a rotation of Big Z and Marcus Davenport. Okay, on one side of Hutch. And then in the draft, you can draft your first or second or even third round edge rusher. Now you have a rotation. Now you have depth. Now you're keeping people fresh. That's all I'm saying. But I don't want to wait until the draft to see if it happens. Last year, there were reports that Terrion Arnold was the pick, even if Jared Verse was there. How many of us are happy with that? Was Terrion Arnold a bad pick? No. Is he a bad cornerback? No. But let's be honest. Jared Verse and Hutch, or Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold? Which pairing would you have rather seen on the other side, on the defense? Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold, or Zadarius, or Jared Verse and Hutch? I'm pretty sure you would rather have seen Hutch and Jared Verse, because where's the quarterback going? That's a pocket that is going to collapse in on you at all times. Every quarterback will have no choice but to get the ball out 2 seconds or less or face the consequences. If you had Jared Verse and Hutch on the outsides and Aleem coming up the middle, and then you got DJ Reader eating up double teams, your quarterback's got a world of trouble. So that's one thing. The other thing is, this same person was talking about the moves that the Detroit Lions are making. And when referencing the Mitchell Agood signing, he said, this is the way the team has been built for 3-4 years. So I don't understand why Lions fans are not excited about small moves or the smaller moves. We're not excited about the smaller moves because what did Mitchell Agood do exactly? Mitchell Agood was the guy that people went crazy over in training camp. How many games did he actively participate in on the defense? And what was his impact? What was his stat line? As a depth piece, great. That's fantastic. We need all our depth back because we needed all the depth that we could get. We saw that this year or this past season because of all of the injuries that we had. So when we bring back a depth player, cool. Are we supposed to throw a party? Just like Lisa said earlier, am I supposed to be excited about Mitchell Agood? No. It's not an exciting move. We also are waiting for other moves. Everyone is waiting for the Kirby Joseph extension. Everybody is waiting for this and waiting for that. So when we've been waiting for days and then you give us Mitchell Agood, who is going to be excited? I don't know. It's a challenge to find someone that's going to be excited. So as a Lions fan, Brad has done great. And here's the other thing. It's a shift in philosophy when the circumstances change, right? We all go, well, Brad has done it this way so far. Again, we have not won a Super Bowl and we want to win a Super Bowl. We have not been to a Super Bowl. We'd love to visit. We'd love to visit a Super Bowl. And we'd love to have our players on the field in Detroit Lions uniforms as participants in the Super Bowl. Last year, we believed that it was Super Bowl or bust. I think everything lined up for us. We had 13 games indoors. You know, all of that stuff is not happening again. And then for those people that are not freaking out about the pass rush, allow me to present to you Exhibit A. Home games for next year. Chicago, mobile quarterback. Green Bay, mobile quarterback. Minnesota, we don't know. We don't know. They could have a mobile quarterback or they could have this old crotchety dude that we sent up out of the division. And Kirby Joseph became his father. Dallas, mobile quarterback-ish. Okay, with the injuries, I don't know how much Dak is going to be moving around. Okay, but shout out to Dallas being a home game because we are always going to Dallas. So at least they have to come to Detroit. New York Giants, I have no idea who their quarterback's going to be. But it could be Shador, could be Cam Ward. So it's a possibility that it's a mobile quarterback, even if he's a rookie. Cleveland, meh. Kenny Pickett. Pittsburgh, the return to Justin Fields. No, he's in New York. My bad. Pittsburgh, it could be Aaron Rodgers. We don't know who's going to be. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield gave us fits with his mobility when they came to Detroit and beat us this past season. That's 5 at home, mobile quarterbacks or possible more quarterbacks. Chicago again on the road. Green Bay again on the road. Okay, we're counting it as games, right? So obviously we play them twice, but we'll count. I gotta change that. I gotta change the time for that alarm. All right, we're counting it as games against mobile quarterbacks. So we already have 5. So we got Chicago on the road. We got Green Bay on the road. That's 7. Minnesota again. It could be a mobile quarterback. If it's JJ McCarthy, he can run around, move around a bit. Washington, Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Kansas City. Okay. if you're keeping count, 11 of our games, okay, are against potential mobile quarterbacks. So when you see Azeez Ojulari go to the Eagles for $4 million on a 1-year deal, when you see insert pass rusher here, Harold Landry went to who did he go to? New England. Who else is off the board? I mean, Chase Young, I never wanted Chase Young. He returned to New Orleans. But like when you see all these pass rushers, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, when you see all of these people going to other places, and then you go, why is Big Z not back? Why have we not re-signed him? We need help. We don't know what Hutch is going to look like. We don't know how how healthy Marcus Davenport is going to be able to stay. So yes, people are anxious. People are upset. People are like, we need moves to be made. That's all that's happening. That's it. All right. Let me get to some of your comments. See what we have here. Rogers is probably in the darkness eating mushrooms. It's very possible. What up, though, Dolo Dynamite? All right, let me go back here. So Dolo Dynamite says, Brad let Eagles get Azeez. He's suspicious now. Now, what I will say about Azeez and Matthew Judon and Hassan Reddick and people of this nature that are primarily pass rushers. Well, we saw what happened with James Houston, and James Houston was a 6th-round pick. You weren't losing anything if you kept him on your roster. I didn't understand the infatuation that they had with James Houston needing to be a traditional Sam. I felt like he had his best impact on the team as an edge rusher, but that's not what they wanted. So guys that specialize in rushing the passer, maybe they're not that great against the run. The Detroit Lions and their scheme, it's not a fit. Okay, so you're going to be asked to basically be a complete player. I don't see why you don't just grab a guy he comes in on second and long, 3rd down, and just gets after the passer. But that's not what they want. But I think Azeez Ojulari was in that mold, so you weren't going to see him. But 1 year, $4 million. Okay. But it was also a business decision because if you saw what the Eagles line looked like in that Super Bowl, which everybody did, as Azeez Ojulari, you go there, you ball out, and you reunite with your guys. Azeez Ojulari did go to the University of Georgia. Okay. And we know that the Eagles are the Philadelphia Bulldogs, just like we're the Detroit Tide. You go there, you ball out for 1 year, and that $4 million now jumps up to maybe 20. Okay, if Azeez goes there and he gets 10 sacks on a $4 million deal, his next deal is going to be massive. All right. All right. Devin Davis says defense is good, but 1 or 2 more good defensive line guys, we would be great. That's all we want. We just want to be great. We don't want to just be good. Lisa says my eyes told me we didn't have enough. Facts. Zach J says, I believe in situational football, you can have great stats, but then when it matters the most, you get blown out. Also, you can't turn the ball over. Dolo Dynamite says, I'm pissed at Brad. Wow, Aziz to Eagles for Davenport. Money, OMG. Yeah. Again, it might not be a scheme fit. Devin Davis says, who did Rodgers go to? Nobody yet. He's playing the waiting game. Apparently, he's waiting on the Vikings because Brett Favre is actually his real father, and he wants to follow in his footsteps. So he's trying to complete the Brett Favre arc, going from the Packers to the Jets to the Vikings. And I think Brett Favre did only do 1 year with the Jets as well. But Rodgers did too, but one of them, Kane Press says, should we be worried? Because I see every other team making big moves and we're just not doing nothing. So again, I don't think it's a huge worry. I feel like it's just a move that we need to make. A move, one move, right? Just to shore up the rotation. You shore up the rotation and then you go into the draft and you do what you need to do. And I'm pretty sure, Brad is notorious for double dipping. Remember, he got Aleem and Levi in the same draft. Okay. He got Terrion and Ennis in the same draft. Right. So he's notorious for double dipping. And it is a very, very deep draft class. He's going to get probably a defensive tackle and an edge or two. Right? He's probably going to do these things. That's great. But the draft is 38 days away. And all I'm seeing, and all a lot of Lions fans are seeing, is what is in front of us right now. What is currently on this roster. And those guys that are in the draft, that's great, but it's pie in the sky because they're not here. This is the only situation. I don't think that there are too many Lions fans crashing out thinking that the defense is going to be terrible. No, I said last year that on paper, it was a top 5 defense. And that didn't matter the schedule or whatever the case may be. And according to the DVOA, we were a top 5 defense for the first 11 weeks of the season. But sometimes we go into games and we're worried about opponents. I want to go into the game and never be worried because I'm like, man, that front four is going to eat. Yeah, bring Lamar. Bring Lamar who? Lamar who? Huh? Who's that? Lamar Jackson? She. Right? I want to be able to do that. Now I'm like, Lamar. I don't know. I don't know. It's going to be. You know what I mean? I'm sweating. I don't want to sweat no more. I just want to have dogs that are going to eat up front and eat the quarterback. That's it. Devin Davis says a proven edge would be great. What up, though, Tactical Sport? Zach J says, I think they want an edge rusher, but I think they want a 1-year contract so that they fall off the books next year. I'm all for that. And that's what Aziz was. And that's what Big Z would be if you just brought him back on his original number. My thing with Big Z, and I think I said this before, look at the number that you were trying to prevent him from making. I don't care about the structure of the contract. Joey Bosa got up to $12.6 million. So let's say Big Z costs $11 million this year, and then the $6 million is in dead cap next year. You have to pay him that $6 million, whether he's on the team or not. Okay, just bring him back. Make it a 2-year deal. But you had him on 11, 12 million. He had 9 sacks. 9 sacks at 12 or 11 or 12 million is a steal. It is a steal. It is an absolute robbery for you to have 9 sacks of production and only be paying 11, 12 million. In today's NFL, it is a steal. And this is why I couldn't understand. Okay. If it balloons up to 11, 12 million this year, that's fine. If he's off the team next year and he only counts 6 million against the cap next year, that's fine. You know, even if you extend Hutch this year, guess what year this is? Year number 4. So in year number 5, if you've picked up his 5th-year option and then you extend him, he's still on his rookie deal. You know when the extension kicks in? Year number 6. So you pick up the 5th-year option on JMO, you pick up the 5th-year option on Hutch, and then you extend them because you've got them under contract for 5 years. And after the 5th year of their contract control, the new money kicks in. It is an extension. It is not a ripping up of the current contract and giving them a brand new one. It is an extension. Now, when you sign a free agent, all right, I'm just saying this because not everybody knows how contracts work. And some people think that contracts work in a way in which they don't. Okay. When you sign a free agent, then that is a new contract. And that starts to toll immediately. Okay. But there are things that you can do with that contract, which will bring down the cap number. So if you sign a guy and you give him a big signing bonus, there are things that you can do for the signing bonus not to count as much as the number that it is. Remember, when they converted Matthew Stafford's $60 million cap hit to his signing bonus, he counted $1 million against the cap. He got paid $60 million, but counted $1 million against the cap. It can be done. I'm telling you it can. I've seen it many times. All right. Taylor Made says nobody knows that the Lions D-line would have matched the Eagles D-line if they had stayed healthy. It's okay to imagine, though. All right, so let's extrapolate this out. Marcus Davenport played a game and a half, and he had a half a sack. So what is that the pace for? 10 full sacks? 11 full sacks? Okay. Now, does he start to get the sacks? So let's look at what he had in week 1. He had 1 half sack and he had like 3 quarterback hits because he got his hands on Matthew Stafford 3 times, I believe, 3 or 4. None of those quarterback hits came in week 3 against Arizona. Now, why do I skip week 2? Because he left week 1 with a groin injury at the end of the game and didn't play week 2. So even without the karate chop or whatever you want to call it, and he said it wasn't a dirty play, but, you know, everyone was up in arms talking about how dirty it was. And the question was, if not that, then what? He already missed week 2 after playing week 1, missed week 2 with a late groin injury. So if you extrapolate over 17 games, okay, but you couldn't have because he missed week 2 already. Okay, so then 16 games. If he gets a half a sack in all 16 games, he gets 8 sacks. Okay, that's how many he gets if he gets a half a sack in every game. But you want him to get full sacks, not just half sacks. So you've got 8 sacks coming from him. Hutch was on pace for 20, 25 sacks. Like he was on pace for this. So this is what I mean. On the other side of Hutch, if you have a demon, which Marcus Davenport was for 1 year, in which he played 11 games and had 9 sacks. If you're counting on him to return to that form, I don't know what to say. I just don't. But if he can give me that type of production, if he can, let's say if he plays in 11 games and he gives me 11 sacks, that's 1 sack a game. That's awesome. I'll take it. But again, he only plays in 11 games. Gotta do something else on the other side over there. All right. Dolo Dynamite is really wanting he really wanted Aziz. All right. Hutch and verse, that's what people are saying. Jonathan Anton says Davenport is cheap. He's 1.65 million guaranteed money. He gets the rest of the money if he plays well. That's great. All of that is great. We're not talking about the Davenport money. I don't think anybody cares about the 1.65 million guaranteed. The thing about Marcus Davenport is relying on his health. We can't do that. And that's what we're talking about. Lisa says Davenport won't be on the field long enough. I 100% hope he gets all the 4.75 million. I hope he hits every incentive. I hope he does. I hope he plays 17 games. But hoping and wishing ain't enough. Hoping and wishing don't put food in the kitchen. Right? All right. Let's see. Tactical Sport says Agu doesn't move the needle. No, he doesn't. Not at all. Salty pork chops. All right, salty pork chops says Seth, what's up, man? Trey ain't coming since he won't let it go. They're the guy who played varsity football and won't give it up 10 years after the fact. They're living off the Super Bowl 4 years ago. They're Al Bundy. They're trying. Kirby's gonna get paid. Brad would be dumb to let Kirby go. No, we don't. I don't think he's gonna let him go. I just wanted to be announced. So, peace of mind. So Jonathan Anton says this. Okay. He's a rotation piece. It's prove it contract. We will get another edge, probably draft one in the first round. So now my question to you again, and maybe you missed this part, was what if BPA says you go another position? Right? So Brad Holmes has always said he uses free agency to fill needs. He uses the draft to acquire talent. Well, I don't think he's filled the need by re-signing Marcus Davenport. Yes, that's part of the need, but Marcus Davenport is a person where you need another person to fill the whole thing. Okay? He can't fill the whole thing by himself. He needs another person that will be with him in the case and the event that he goes down. That's my point. We're just looking for another person. Bring Big Z back and I'm good. Free agency is done for me. I don't care about nothing else. Bring Big Z back. Make another move at the edge because you're going to go into the season, if you don't make another move, with a rookie and Marcus Davenport on the other side of Hutch. And based off of Marcus Davenport's history, Based off of his history alone. I'm not saying that I want this to happen. Based off of Marcus Davenport's history, he won't finish the season. So you're just going to have that rookie and Hutch. And whatever other depth pieces they require through the draft or undrafted free agency or whatever. Let's see. Devin Davis says we will win the division this year too. Dr. Detroit says, who cares? We're hanging another division banner. ROFL. Dr. Detroit does not care about winning divisions at all. How many of these players you are naming actually want to play here? I would assume a fair bit of people would like to play for the Lions after they've revamped and rehauled their reputation on and off the field. So I would say that that's probably not the thing that is hindering people these days. Back in the day, that used to be it. Like nobody wants to come to Detroit. They don't win anything. They have a terrible culture. You have meddling management. It's like the Jets. The Detroit Lions used to be the Jets. Now that they have, changed everything, they're not anymore. Taylor May says maybe Ojulari just wanted to play with the defending Super Bowl champs in Philly. That's also probably a big reason he took $4 million. When you have that cachet, you can tell people, yeah, you take a cheap deal, you come look good with us for a year, and then you get paid, right? Devin Davis says we need that Cliff Averill type edge to pair with Hutch. I would not disagree with that. Lisa says we should have signed Josh Sweat. All right. Tactical Sports says, but you also wasn't gaining anything with Houston on the roster. You were with Big Z, and we cut him. So the Houston thing, again, I didn't understand the cut because he had production, and then we were, injured. Like, who did we bring in for him? Big Z, 100%. That made absolutely no sense because Houston was on a 6-round rookie contract. What did he cost? Someone said this same reporter, okay, and the part of his reasoning for talking about he didn't see why Lions fans weren't more excited about the smaller moves was because we've shown to take the time to develop players. Alex Anzalone got better, Kirby got better every year, and the list goes on. Okay. Now, what was going on with James Houston? I don't know. Maybe things will come out. Hopefully, it won't be an Isaiah Buggs situation because Isaiah Buggs, he was doing something. He was reading some press clippings. Something was happening with him that caused him to act like an ass. But let's see. So Salty Pork Shop says, I'm still thinking Z is coming back. The writing is on the wall. He would have signed with someone by now if he wanted to. It's possible. I would love for that to happen. I would love for that to be the move. You bring back Big Z. I've said many times, I am 100% fine. I will rest easy if you bring Big Z back because that is the insurance that you have for Marcus Davenport no matter what happens in the draft. No matter what happens in the draft, right? Then if you want to go in round one and you want to get a tackle or you want to get a guard or whatever, I wouldn't care. But if you don't get anyone, and then we got to wait all the way to the end of day one, and then you call up with the 28th pick of the 2025 NFL draft, the Detroit Lions select Donovan Jackson, I'm going to be pissed. Pissed. Because I'm like, dang, I got to wait until tomorrow to see what they do with this situation. No. That's my point. Who would you rather have, Z or Ojulari? Z by a mile. I would rather have Big Z right now. We need all the help we can get. That's true. Aaron Rodgers is just waiting to make the decision until everyone else is signed so he can be the center of attention. Oh, if he goes to the Vikings, Kirby gonna get him again. Maybe his last pass of his career this time. That would be so poetic. That would be poetic justice at its finest. Um, that one move, if you ask me, could be bringing Big Z back. Says Tactical Sport. If that's the move, then I'll take it. That is, I will take it. Okay. Again, he also says, I just need the Lions to do something that moves the needle. Agu doesn't do that. No. But it's a smaller move and you should be happy because they develop players. Aziz has been hurt as well, plus not a scheme fit. You have 4 Pro Bowl to 6 Pro Bowls to re-sign already. Patience is a virtue. I had someone tell the Lions we're winning 7 games. I ain't gonna say nothing crazy like that. One move. That's all we waiting on. One move. All right, so we have to pay Hutch, JMO, Branch, Kirby. We don't have it. So this is why I push back. When does Hutch's money kick in? When does JMO's money kick in? Kirby is different. When does Branch's money kick in? Kirby is different because Kirby is up now, right? He's going into year 4. He doesn't have another year after this. Right? So if he goes into this year without a deal, then he's technically gonna hit free agency. Like at the end of the next season, he will technically be a free agent because he will no longer be on the team without a new deal. His contract will expire at the end of this coming season. But when you extend players, and this is what I was explaining before, when you extend players, the new money on the extension does not kick in until their current contract is up. So if you were to sign, let's say Trey Hendrickson for $35 million for 2 years, guess what? The money would not coincide when Hutch's money kicks in, when JMO's money kicks in, when Brian Branch's money kicks in, and so on and so forth. The only money that it would tangle up with is Kirby's money. That's it. So you would have 2 guys on your on your defense making 20. Now, what's Kirby going to get? 20 million per, possibly. Okay. So you would have two guys on your defense taking up 55 million in salary cap, saying that Trey gets 100 and or I'm sorry, 35 million per. The salary cap isn't a real thing if you know what you were doing. Exactly. Now, the Bengals, I don't know if they know what they're doing. Because they got 44% of their cap tied up in three offensive players. That's crazy. Uh Phil says, love it when you use big words, chef. um Hand fighting is common in the NFL. Some call it playing violently until a player gets hurt. And then they want to start making videos. Dolo Dynamite says Brad is too stubborn to get out of his own way. Um, Pierce, Scorton, Sawyer should be available at 28. Would be an upgrade. If I would be pissed if they draft Sawyer at 28. Uh, I don't think Pierce is coming. I think from what I'm hearing, it's a lot of character flaws as far as his just attitude. But again, the Detroit Lions had a chance to sit down with him and interview him at the combine. So they may have come out more impressed with him than what people are saying, right? It's smoke screen season. A lot of people could be slinging mud, just trying to get him to fall to their team, like the Eagles. Um, what? Hold on. Are we serious? Dolo Donovan says Vikings hosting legendary Jeff Okuda. They should sign him. Let him lock up J-Mo. Oh, please do. Where's my camera? Minnesota Vikings. Please sign Jeff Okuda and let us play against him 2 times a year. Please do. I implore you. Please make it happen. Please make it happen. And let that man go in your locker room and give you a speech before y'all go out to play the Detroit Lions. Please. You owe it to us, Minnesota Vikings, for being a thorn in our side last season. Not winning, but not beating us, but winning too many damn games, so we had to go down to the wire to win the division. Please do it. You owe us. All right, I'm back. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? That would be fantastic. Uh Pierce is a dog, and like I said, it may just be smoke screening. He might not even be there at 28. That's just what we're hearing. You know, somebody might just be trying to get him to fall out of the top 15 or something, and then he does, and then they snatch him up at 16. Um, Alex Zimmerman says that is the move to make. Resign Smith. That's all I'm worried about. We can pick up 2 edge rushers in the draft. Exactly, 100%. Just do what you got to do and sign somebody like Zadarius Smith before the draft. And then we're good. We can go into the draft. We can be carefree. Um, Let's see. Did I miss any? All right. Phil says we can buy a free agent for multi-year big splash for 90 million or two platoon guys with fresh legs and grit. I see the plan. 2 for 30 for 1 year. Yes, but who are these 2 for 30? Because Marcus Davenport ain't one of them. Marcus Davenport is not one of them. I'm just saying. He's not. Um, and here's the thing. I responded to this person yesterday on Twitter, and obviously they didn't reply back because it was correct, right? So take Trey Hendrick, and I'm just using Trey Henderson as an example. I'm not saying that we're getting Trey Henderson. We have any chance of getting Trey Henderson or whatever. I'm just using a person like him who's 31 years old. You're probably not going to want to sign him to anything more than 3 years because he's 31, right? So he's starting to get long in the tooth per NFL circles, right? You sign him to a contract. Let's say you give him $90 million. You give him 3 years, 30 million per. Let's say 70 million of that money is guaranteed. You give him the guaranteed money in the first 2 years. When there's no more guaranteed money remaining, right? Now you can restructure him or cut him, right? And by restructuring, I mean this, because he's got 1 year left. How are you restructuring? If you owe him 20 million for year number 3 and his production is great and you still want to reward him for his production hasn't slipped at all, you convert that 20 million to a signing bonus and you give it to him at the beginning of the year. He counts way less against the cap when you do it that way. And then you watch Hutchinson's money kick in. You see how this works? Like, this is how contracts work in the NFL. You run the game. You just run around them, right? I'm reading on Twitter that Jaguars open for offers for Trayvon Walker. I mean, I heard he was getting better last year, right? I wouldn't be opposed, but what is the compensation? Right? What's the compensation? You saw did the 49ers straight up cut Trey Lance or did they get something back? Did they trade him to the Cowboys for like a 5th-round pick or something? Now, Trayvon Walker wasn't a colossal bust like Trey Lance. So maybe you pick him up for a 4th. I don't know that though. He's still on his rookie contract, so you could pick up his 5th-year option, keep him for 2 years, and if he doesn't pan out, you cut him. All right. So I think they did trade him for a 5th-round pick if my memory serves me correctly. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind it if it was a 4th, 5th-round pick. Even I'd be comfortable giving them a 3rd-round pick for Trayvon Walker for a 2-year rental who could turn into something. But then you're going to have the other issue. Going to have to pay him. Right? You got to pay people. I think the Bengals are going to let a lot of people go. which is why they're in a different situation than us. And I think they're comfortable letting a lot of people go. Right? They want to keep their cornerstone players, which is why they're back at the table with Trey Hendrickson. But there's a lot of people on that team that are going to leave because they're not going to have the cap space to do anything with it. And they're fine with it. Us, on the other hand, we got a lot of players that we want to keep. Right? Brad loves all the guys that he drafted. And that's what he wants to keep. So we'll see what happens with that. Trey Lance went for a 4th-round pick. I mean, they had to get something back. They gave up everything to get him. Bro, the NFL is asking other quarterbacks about Aaron Rodgers trivia. Come on, bro. Give me a break. Give me a break. All right, guys. I do have to get ready to get out of here. Yeah, Trey went for a 4th-round pick. So, hey, I mean, he was a quarterback. Give me Trayvon Walker for a 3rd-round pick. No problem. I mean, a 4th-round pick. No problem. All right. I got to get out of here, guys. But remember, as soon as we are done here, if you are not a subscriber of the Motor City Cats podcast, please go to my YouTube channel, Motor City Cats, and subscribe. And I will be back on Motor City Cats tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate you guys for coming through, hanging out, having your opinions heard. Very, very, very good discourse that we had here today. Very, very good discussions. Appreciate all the messages. Appreciate the support. Make sure you go subscribe to the Motor City Cats. Motor City Cats, back at it. Came to give you stats, not static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic. And I just have really just one question.
Is Wayne Brady going to have to choke a bitch?
That's all I got. All right. Peace.